Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally, and I mean literally, does not work. So let's get open for business here. And let's wake up the football gods. Wake up here this morning, guys. How you guys doing? Wow. Forgive me for a second here. I just want to savor my morning coffee. It has been 16 weeks now, 16 games that I've come down here for the 2020 season and had my game day coffee. Season has been a roller coaster, ups and downs, and it's what you get. You can't always have great seasons, and unfortunately, at the end of the year, there's only going to be one team that's satisfied and happy. There's 31 others that are going to pick up the pieces and try and figure out what they did wrong and how they corrected to get to that mountaintop, so that way they can be that one team that's satisfied. We have a chance. We have a chance. Not a great chance because the Eagles, Schwartz is not coming back, their defensive coordinator. They're resting 9 guys, although it looks like Doug Peterson will be returning for them. So that brings them stability. And in some regards, some of those guys, our only hope is that some of those guys are digging deep, trying to make a name for themselves to give us a reason to be returning for Doug Peterson. Hence, they're auditioning. I don't know that they're going to really go all out. I just don't. I just don't see it. But, it's a crazy season. I didn't see the Jets going through and winning 2 games when they had the number 1 pick pretty much sewed up. I didn't see Cincinnati going through and winning a streak. Hell, I didn't see my Cowboys getting up off the mat the way the first 4 games went after Dak went down. But that's football. Things change, evolve. Last night, surprisingly, I did my fireside chat, and I was reflecting on Sean Lee, because if this is the end, if we don't win and the Eagles don't win, then our season is done. It's now time to start working on the 21 season. Sean Lee, who is a guy that you gotta love. He's had bad luck with injuries and things, and I've been blessed enough to have gotten to know him a bit, between him being a Cowboys Man of the Year and meeting him at autograph signings and things like that, and knowing the type of person that he is a guy that gives it all. He literally leaves everything on the field, much the same way of like Tony Romo's out there, and the Jason Wittens and the DeMarcus Wares. Guys that you wish had gotten a ring with the Dallas Cowboys, but unfortunately just didn't. And I was reflecting on that, and that's what my video was. And lo and behold, as I'm uploading it, comes the news that Kellen Moore has signed a 3-year extension to remain the offensive coordinator. After all week, literally, it seemed like Jerry Jones was basically saying, take that job. He was talking about the 2 buzzards on the limb and things. And, I guess one buzzard's waiting for something to die so they can go eat. And the other one's like, I'm going to go kill something. I still don't understand how that relates to Kellen Moore going to Boise State, but that's Jerry Jonesism. So it seemed like it was a foregone conclusion that Kellen Moore was going to go to Boise State. He had said he had interviewed and he'd like to do this and that. And out of left field, boom, here's the 3-year commitment. And I'm going to say, if you are a Dak Prescott fan, you love this. If you are a guy that says the Cowboys need to move on from Dak Prescott, the dink and dunk Dak sucks, and, I want me a real quarterback, then you are not happy today, because I believe I don't have any, knowledge or anything else. This is just my personal feeling that Dak Prescott had to be part of this equation. It was funny to me because when we ended up getting rid of Jason Garrett, that we kept Kellen Moore. When we ended up getting rid of Scott Linehan, that Kellen Moore became the offensive coordinator. And this was my own personal thinking, and apparently it was wrong. But I looked at it like this. Let's say you're a junior in high school, you're a great football player and stuff, and you're a backup. The senior is in front of you, but you end up taking his job, right? You become the starter because they say, hey, you're just better than him. And you play your junior year and you play lights out. Well, he graduates and becomes a coach. And now the guy that you beat out is now your coach. And it's kind of like, wait a minute, what are you going to teach me? I was better than you. I did your job better than you could. That was my thought process. That was completely wrong because, well, Dak Prescott went to bat and said how much he loved working with Kellen Moore. And I believe that Dak Prescott was part of the equation on this one. And here's the reason why you like this. Part of the problem we had this year, if you look at the offense didn't change much. What changed for the offense was we added a playmaker in CeeDee Lamb to start out with. Now, we had all kinds of flux with the offense, which is an issue, and as we had to keep changing up and guys being out there for the first time, there wasn't consistency. You've seen the offensive line over the course of the last 4 games and stuff start to play better because they're starting to play together and they're starting to get some consistency. The defense, you really didn't have any. You had a brand new coach who talked about doing a hybrid defense, so now you're changing things. You ended up bringing Emerson Griffin and Gerald McCoy. You brought in Don Terry Poe and Darryl Worley. You had all these new guys that were brought in with the new defensive coordinator with a new system, and everybody just looked like crap because they didn't know what they were supposed to do. Now, they've gotten better. I'm not going to say that we're a lights-out defense. I'm not going to say that we have all the horses that we need, but they're beginning to get more consistent. The offense, because you kept a Kellen Moore, because you kept the same terminology, because everybody knew basically what they're doing, you could start adding wrinkles to it and modifying what you're doing without major change. And here's the thing that you want to look at here. As we talk about Dak Prescott, and we've heard Stephen Jones talking about, players that they're bringing back, Dak Prescott and Tyron Smith and Lyle Collins and everything else, that they want to keep Dak Prescott. And I hope that come Tuesday, if we are done, they start working on the process of getting that thing done and out of the way. But as far as offensive coordinator, there's a lot of guys that say, get rid of him, man. I want a real offensive coordinator. I got to be honest with you. With the 4 games with Dak, you averaged 31 points a game, 31 and a half points a game, 509 yards of offense. You're not going to get too much more yardage than that. Passing, look at that, 407 yards. Now, Zeke wasn't really effective that first part, so you relied more on the pass, and of course our defense was giving away points in buckets, so you had to rely on the pass. But let's hope that we can balance that passing down with the running game more so we can be more balanced. But to put up those kinds of offensive numbers is huge. And now, even with the 10 games without Dak, you're beginning to see them get into a little bit of a rhythm. It's still 10 points down lower than with Dak, 21, 320, and 205. But to be using 4 different quarterbacks in a season without an off season, with a shortened training camp and no preseason games, your offense did pretty good. If we can just get the defense up to par, if we can get our defense just a little bit above an average defense, if we can keep the defense taking the football away, then all of a sudden you've got yourselves a really good team. And that's what you look for. Because too many times we have, you look at some of the failures and say, Cleveland. where they keep bringing in a new quarterback. They keep bringing in a new offensive coordinator, bring a new quarterback in, new offensive coordinator. You look at the Jets, let's get a new offensive coordinator. Let's get a new coach. That there's no consistency throughout there. That there's a learning curve for everybody's system. That it takes time to understand what this guy wants to do. And if you keep changing every single year or every other year, you're ruining the chances for your quarterback. Tom Brady knows the New England system better than anybody else because he had the same system year after year after year. It became second nature. It became instinctual. You didn't have to think about it. And as we saw with our defense, when our players had to think, they hesitated. And football, more than anything else, is about a reaction. You hear what's called, and automatically your body just goes in autopilot. And that's what having Kellen Moore back will help do. There may be other guys that may be a little more offensive genius, and there's some of you that may blame, oh, well, Kellen Moore stinks. Yeah, everybody has some bad plays that they call. And the reality is anything can become a bad play call. We as fans look at it and say, oh, if that play failed, it was a bad play call. Well, when your offensive line can't block anybody, when you don't have any holes for your running back, when your quarterback has no time, or the receivers are dropping the balls, it's not necessarily a bad play call. It may be the best play call that you can make in the circumstances that you have. Not everything is going to work. But we as fans, especially Cowboy fans, are always ready to say, throw it away and get me something new. And it doesn't work that way. You can't just throw everybody away and think that automatically you can bring in something else that's going to be better. So, it is game day. We are 3 hours away from kickoff. Got most of the man cave actually set up yesterday, so I'm happy about that. Did a few changes in here, and we're going to have Italian subs today. And we hope that Jason Garrett will need to spit one out after the Cowboys hopefully go through and kick that ass. I'm Mark Holmes, and I hope you guys will join us for our live stream. Depending on what happens for the Cowboy game, we might just roll right on through the 4 o'clock games, straight on through to the Washington game. So make sure you got yourself a sub. Make sure you got some cold beer in the fridge, and make sure you get ready for the last regular season week of the NFL. And I'll see you here in a bit.